Hello and welcome to Stars Without Number Abaddon, Season 3. It's 2020. It's a new year. We haven't played in 3 months. How's everyone going? I know how you're going.
I am currently melting. It is so hot.
Yeah. Australia gets hot in the summer. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I was going to say something, then I remembered my stance on never going political, so I'm just not going to say that thing. So,
So, Liam, you don't go political. Can we go political on your channel?
I mean, I have a statement somewhere on the channel that nothing said by people who aren't me can reflect my opinion.
I believe communism is the way to go, and Liam has told me many times he also believes this.
I'm fairly sure Lane has also said that multiple times on stream.
That is Lane, though. Lane is an exception to morality.
So we had a little talk before going live. So I know that some of you remember what the fuck happened last time.
Some of it.
Anyone want to give us a quick rundown? We can. I mean,
The problem is I don't remember what order it all happened in.
All right. So
That's
I know
fine.
episode 1. This is episode 3, by the way. I might have said that. Fucking 3 episodes. Episode 1, we killed a lot of people. I know that.
Oh yeah, we did.
Well,
No, we didn't. We didn't. You did. You did. I tried to do it, but you specifically caused this to happen.
I don't
I didn't.
appreciate the finger blaming, pointing. Stop pointing that finger at me.
All I did was just agree with everything both of you said.
Yeah.
That's not helpful, turns out.
The salvage of 456 Pluto Station ended in nuclear devastation.
Yeah, that was someone's fault. I don't remember whose though. We're
Yeah.
gonna move on.
I think it was some
I
robots.
think it was God.
Yeah,
I had nothing to do with that.
No, God didn't do it. The people who owned the station blew it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, at that point, there was
So,
nothing we could do. The next session,
So-
I believe, it was just a bottle episode, and we traveled in space for 4 hours, or 3 hours, or whatever it was. We made some friends, met some passengers, did some stuff. Some psychic stuff happened.
Tail almost broke. What's your name again?
Augur.
The robot.
Augur.
Ogre.
Robot.
Augur, I haven't...
Robot.
We'll move on from this. We have a man who has a box, and he's probably a vampire.
Fuck, I just realized something.
The man with the box is a vampire, and it's probably his coffee.
No, something stupider.
Oh, okay.
There's a man with a box who doesn't allow anyone to know what's inside of it. He doesn't eat or sleep or drink. Fucking Time Lord, bitch.
We have Doctor Who in our ship.
I mean,
bigger on the inside.
when you psychically peered into the future about what would happen if you opened the box, you blew up. So
That's right. Was that me or was
It's
that
the
Tail?
Pandorica.
Who was that?
That was me.
That was...
yeah.
I forgot about that. It's a scary box and a scary person who's a vampire or a Time Lord or something. We don't know. I think we have a bunch of passengers that we've been dropping off in places. Not a lot has actually happened in terms of our characters besides us.
I gave Green
sacrificing people.
employment. That is something that happened.
Before you gave him employment, he had somehow already managed to find a security uniform.
Tail to
And a
his
weapon.
companions. One of his name is Green. Who's a big strong
Yeah,
dude.
and Green somehow just keeps finding weapons. Like at one point, they were all in the mess hall, and he pulls out a pipe. I'm not really sure where he got the pipe from, but it's fine. And then at one point, I think you were leaving the ship, or you told him to guard the ship, and you were like, "Here, you'll need a gun." And he's like, "No, it's fine. I've got one." I'm not sure how he's getting these, but
Pretty
somehow.
sure the armory has a lock on it, and he doesn't have the key to it. Who knows?
And the security camera on the armory has never shown anyone entering.
He also might be
Yeah,
a Time
I don't know what his deal is, but I'm sure we'll figure out what the fuck is happening at some point.
I think the most important thing is that we left on a cliffhanger where we could. The next episode would do whatever the fuck. And I think
No,
that's
Pretty
it
much.
was
actually-
literally our ship exiting metaspace.
Yeah.
And we're just in this system now.
Yeah, we just have to drop the Time Lord off, or vampire. Definitely a
Oh
vampire.
yeah, and Tail screaming for a bit.
Yeah. She's also, if I remember correctly, she's drugged up really bad.
That's not new though.
That's not new. Look,
No.
Yeah.
all right. I don't remember anything else.
Cool. All right. I'm pretty sure that's everything. So I think as we
Question
fade
before
up.
we start.
Yes. Yes.
Can I have time to write my goals down?
I don't even know what a goal for this session could be for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like they don't have to be set in stone right away, do they?
No, they never have had to been. I always give you a
Do-
little bit of wiggle room at the start of a
That's,
session.
that's true. Question over.
Okay, thanks. So we we fade up from the title screen to
I forgot one of my goals from last session. It was
I
just
read them.
confuse people.
yeah. So we fade up from the title screen to a different place, somewhere corporate, and it's a boardroom, and we see a woman dressed in a very like nice looking suit, and she turns as someone enters the room, and it's a figure we know. It's God.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
not
he
there.
one of the characters
approaches-
was God.
Yeah, that's why I said it was God's fault. Because I'm not blaming this
Oh, I forgot about
a
that guy.
religious a religious identity.
I thought you were referring to
I am-
yourself.
No. God, the
There's a
character
called God.
that you named God.
No, he called himself God.
Or
and I
he
said, okay.
He did.
introduced himself as God.
I just said okay.
And
Yeah,
the
you were
idiots in the
like-
party believed him.
I think they were like, what can we call you? He's like, I don't know, God. Okay, so we see him approach this woman, and he says, I think she probably starts the conversation. She says, so how did the test go? And he like smirks and says, well, with complications, but the bioagent works. You can be assured of that. She says, she smiles. Good. And we can count on your services in the future? He nods. He says, well, that depends on where I am. I might not necessarily be where you need me. And she says, I'm sure for the right amount of money, you will be wherever we need you. And then we fade away from that conversation, and we fade up to the slowly spinning ball of dawn. This planet is a shithole. It's a colony that never really took. It probably has like 1,000 people living in 2 very local settlements that are spaced like pretty close to the starport. The only reason this still exists at all is the natural resources that exist on Dawn. The planet itself is relatively inhospitable. It doesn't do well with doesn't mix well with the human biosphere. It is too hot to be comfortable. People don't live here if they're just trying to pick a place to live. There are some colonies that are doing very well. There are colonies that have hit the millions of people. This isn't one of them. And the only reason that the corporate interest that holds sway over Dawn still keeps hold and keeps paying the people to be there are the natural resources that exist.
Gotta get that
Did
gold.
you make your ship able to land in atmosphere?
Yes, I believe
Okay,
we
I
did.
think you did.
Okay.
Test ship.
I'm 90% sure we did.
Yeah, you have atmospheric configuration.
Yeah, 'cause this is an
so I think
adventure game.
we see the spaceport, the relatively basic spaceport of Dawn, as the ship touches down on one of the landing pads.
How many chunks of random metal fall off the spaceport?
It seems like relatively clear that like this it's not a busy spaceport, but it's industrial, right? Everything here is industrial size. This place is made for bulk landers to come in, pick up ore and other resources, and get the fuck out of Dodge, whilst carrying as much of it back into orbit as possible. So, it's a relatively robust spaceport, and the landing pad is far bigger than your small ship. What do you do as you touch down? What do we see?
Well, Nut's muted.
Yeah, Nut's muted.
I think, yeah.
We just chuck the
Yeah.
Time Lord guy out and we run away.
Yeah, I mean, like, if honestly, he, you go down to the cargo bay and he's standing there with his crate, and he's like, he looks up at you and he smiles and says, "We have arrived."
Are you going
yes.
to tell us what is in your crate,
No,
please?
I believe part of what I paid for was. I can't even think of the word.
That feels like it was so long ago. I've
Discretion.
forgotten everything about our deal.
The deal was not with you, little one. Don't worry.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, he'll give you your credits and disembark if that's what you want.
Mr. Luther, have you dealt with customs before?
He nods. I have. I travel to Dawn regularly.
Ah, well, that makes this very easy then. I'm sure you have a relationship with the local customs officials, and nothing will be amiss when we bid you farewell.
He nods. No, of course not. Why would it be amiss?
Who knows?
Because this planet is full of assholes.
I'm pretty sure it would get harder to get it off than to get it in, so I'm sure you can say hello to your Blue Sun Cybertech company and recommend our services in the future.
He smiles again, the exact same smile as last time, if you've been paying attention. He says, I will. It was an adequate journey.
Mr. Luther,
Yes?
if it doesn't bother you, may we please have your comlink?
Why?
I think he wants to spam you with questions.
No, so we may stay in contact.
Why would we need to stay in contact?
We are friends, aren't we?
I'm pretty sure he has spent most of the time here in the cargo room and not making friends with you.
We made
100%
tea.
of it.
I'm also pretty sure he hasn't really done so much tea with you. That
We made everyone tea. They made everyone
Yes.
tea.
I think you
pretty
see
sure
the
that
tea.
is not a
I think
friendship
the
term.
cup of tea is probably just like, I don't know what happens to tea when you leave it for like weeks, but
no,
it's like sitting.
It's not just one cup of tea. There's like
Yeah,
mini cups of teas.
yeah, they're all like on the floor of the cargo bay in like stages of whatever happens to tea when you leave it for weeks.
Oh. Are we not friends then?
He is business, not pleasure.
I don't think he's human. I whisper to nobody in particular.
He looks at you, shares the same smile. I assure you I am.
It's not what
Then
a
why don't
human
you
would say.
eat something?
I do not require. I do not need to eat.
It has been several weeks. I assume in that time you would have need to have eaten something, considering you're human.
Well, all
I
of the
am
passengers are
modified.
alive.
Not
Modified?
he nods.
In what sense does that apply?
I no longer require as regular sustenance as I once did.
Oh. Well, that makes sense then.
Interesting.
That sort of modification definitely exists. It's just
Yeah.
pretty pricey to get the stuff that isn't slowly poisoning you. It's expensive.
But I
But
like
then
being
again,
slowly poisoned.
most modifications are.
Goodbye,
Well,
Mr. Luther.
my job has been completed adequately. You have been delivered
nods.
safely to this place. Do you wish an escort further into this place?
That would depend on the cost.
Why, it would be very appalling service if I did not offer you some measure of safety, at least beyond this spaceport.
He nods,
I would.
says, this extra level of service would make my recommendation of you to my parent corporation more likely.
Exactly.
It would seem profitable on both our sides.
Yes. Have you arranged transport from beyond this point?
No, I'm not traveling far from the spaceport.
So you intend to use a trolley and take your cargo with you and walk the rest of the way?
He walks over at it, taps into a code, and it starts hovering from the deck. Anti-gravity.
Mm.
All right. Well, we shall walk with you the rest of the way, yes?
When
He
it
smiles.
starts hovering.
I would
we're gonna-
appreciate that.
We'll claps their hands when it starts hovering, like in delight. Ooh. That's impressive.
All right. And
Okay.
she turns around and she's just like, Grin, you have the ship. I'll give you leave to amuse yourself soon.
I suggest you don't leave him with
The-
the keys.
The camera cuts and like to green, and I think we see him. It almost looks like it's through one of the security cameras in the ship, and we see him like in the captain's chair, and he leans back and he puts his feet up on the console. He's like, brilliant. I'll look after
He somehow has a cigar.
that.
Okay. And as we start heading off, she just kind of looks at Augur and she's just like, you know, for a psychic, you barely use your gifts.
Why would... We don't understand.
Augur, we are about to walk onto a planet filled with scum and villainy, and you predict what to happen.
Oh. You're asking for Italian.
Exactly.
Oh. Well, in that case... Gonna see what my ability...
Your mask changes.
Wow, 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 wow.
No. It would be Oracle. Yeah. I'm gonna bam this into chat. Here we go. So yeah, what did you exactly ask, Nut? Or Miriam?
Well, we are about to deliver Luther Barnsley to safety. The question that you should ask is, will he be delivered safely?
What did Miriam say? I forget the
No,
exact
she's just, yeah, she's asking if you foresee any hindrances.
Okay. Okay. I can see. I think a week into. I think like a week into the future. Augur's. I don't think Augur's eyes can close. Augur's inner eyes, the eyes on the inner face. I think they're the blue eyes.
I still feel sorry for Abby having to draw that.
Yeah. They flash a blue color, and I ask the question. Oh, how would Augur phrase this, or what would Augur ask? Because there's an optimal way to do this, and then there's a non-optimal way.
Which is the exact way that Augur would do it.
Yeah. What's
I
gonna
mean, you
happen
could just do it the optimal way and then not say the optimal thing.
What's gonna happen when we follow this guy? What's gonna happen to us if we help Mr. Luther get to his destination?
Oh, you're absolutely ambushed.
Okay, what do we
see?
see?
You see thugs with guns.
All right, we're in the city, are we? What?
How far along the walk?
Because I see a mission. I see this as if I was experiencing it. Where are we?
Quack.
Whoa.
Does Quack look weird to anyone who isn't me?
Yeah.
Okay. You are just outside the spaceport, and you can see the spaceport behind you.
I think that's Quack's image. I don't know what happened to Quack.
Quack died.
He dead.
Okay, so I see that, and I flashback. Oh no.
Oh yes.
That is unfortunate. Doesn't say anything else. Oh, Quack's back. Oh, Quack dropped. Oh god.
Oh,
Power just flashed
sure he'll-
BRB.
yeah.
Yeah, Olga doesn't say anything in relation to what they saw. They just say, "Oh no,
That was
that's
great.
not good." Shall we go then?
Why, Augur, I think you're about to learn humanity's greatest gift to the world.
Art?
Time.
Oh, I like that. We like that answer. Humanity's greatest gift to the world is time.
Why, yes.
Really?
You see, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no human to witness it, does it truly fall?
Yes. Of course. Otherwise, the tree wouldn't have fallen, and you wouldn't be asking the question.
No, my dear Augur. If the tree falls and there is no human to notice it, then the tree has not truly fallen.
But what if someone goes there after the tree's fallen, and there's a fallen tree?
Yes, then the human sees the fallen tree and it has fallen.
What if an AI goes there?
Well, would you exist without humanity?
We cannot answer that question.
No.
Luther says, I prefer the real question of if a tree falls in the forest and there is no one there to hear it, does it truly make sound? As sound is really just vibration, only made into sound when converted by the ear and the brain.
Well, then, in that case, shouldn't the better question be, if a tree falls in the forest, does it truly vibrate? And I think we think the answer would be yes. No?
No, of course not.
So a tree falling in the forest without a human in its presence doesn't vibrate,
Yes.
It doesn't make sound.
but it vibrates?
Why would it?
Cool.
There would be no human to hear.
This is a riveting conversation. Let's move on.
Yeah, like Miriam says that. Why wouldn't it? There's no human there. If Olga had a face of a human, it would just be of bewilderment, absolute confusion. I guess we start walking really, really slowly, waiting for Tail to mingle to come here.
Well, I mean, Tail is not really needed for this next section.
I don't. Whatever you mean.
Hmm.
Okay.
So-
yeah, I guess we move on. Let's go get ambushed.
Yeah.
I mean, in that future vision, you also saw a lot of people dying. I think that's just someone dies. Yeah.
Olga still doesn't say anything. It doesn't occur to Olga that Miriam should know that.
Yeah, okay. So what happens here is we're gonna escort him, and as soon as, as we're departing, Miriam kind of lets you escort the guy so that she can sneak off and find out what's ahead.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's play that out. So he's preparing his stuff to move. How do we see Miriam? I'm interested to see how, like, she gets an idea. Like, she knows something bad's gonna happen. Doesn't know exactly what that bad thing is, but she knows something's gonna happen. How do we see Miriam prepare for this?
Oh man. Well, the first thing she would do is probably she would find a high vantage point. So, given the space station's nature as one of the higher buildings around, yeah, she would
So-
probably just find us, like, sneak off to try and find a spot where she can
All right.
observe the entrance and see if there are people looking at the entrance that aren't like security guys.
Sure. So you look at the external kind of view cameras of the ship. You see a spot that would work. But you're gonna have to get past port customs first. They're walking
Oh,
towards
yeah.
the ship. So what do you do about them?
The port customs official?
Hmm.
Hmm. Oh man, what a poor guy. So, oh man, as a Martian citizen, what are my rights?
It's you are like you have free access to anything that isn't restricted at a higher corporate level, which standard starports aren't. You have relatively free. There are import taxes. Most places that are nicer than this will pay, like, you have to pay like a entrance fee, I guess. And like docking fee is, pretty much always
Yeah.
applied.
Hmm.
But for you, in this situation, you'd be relatively certain pretty much all you'd be asked to pay is a docking fee. They know this place is kind of a shithole. People aren't going to pay to come here.
Yeah, it's more than when you're trying to leave that they'll be inspecting the cargo.
Yeah, just to make sure you aren't taking anything out without paying the right import-export taxes.
Yeah. Oh man. I think, yeah, she'll just suitcase. That's a good one. Yeah, she'll bring her suitcase.
Sure. So do you approach the customs official who is walking towards you?
Well, we would. Yeah. I think
Okay.
we would approach the customs official with our passenger registry.
Yep.
So she would have our comp pad up, and she would be like, "You are the customs official."
Yeah, I think this person kind of looks and nods. I think relatively nondescript. they really could be either gender. They have short cropped hair, a relatively indiscriminate form, and they nod towards you, say, "I am." There is a docking fee for parking the ship, but apart from that, you are free to come and go as you please. But anything brought to or taken from the planet will incur the appropriate import-export taxes.
Why, yes, of course. I am merely bringing passengers.
He nods. He says, "In that case, each passenger will have to pay a small fee, but for you, it is only the docking fee to stay on the station. How long do you intend to stay?"
Well, I have no clue.
Uh-oh.
So let's say a week, and we'll go from there.
Nods. They say that would be fine. The docking fee for this
I
particular
can't hear you
pad
guys.
is 100 credits per
And neither
day,
can
and depending on how long you stay, we might be able
anyone
to
else.
work out something better if you were to pay in advance.
I can pay in advance. Sure.
They smile. They say, "In that case, we could make it 550 for 7 days. But you are agreeing that if you would leave before the 7 days, you do forfeit any rights to return of any of that."
Of course. Of course.
He smiles. He does something on his compad, and they hold it out to you and say, "If these details seem correct." And it's send, so if it's sending true information of your ship, it sends that.
I mean, it doesn't tell you all the smuggling compartments, but yes.
No. But yeah, like apart from that, it has all your tonnage. It has like a little kind of obviously what would have been like a little drop down menu for like your purpose. It's just like
Yeah.
transfer. Fucking why can't I think of
Notice anything shifty about the person first.
Yeah, absolutely, go for that.
Whoa, sorry about that. We
Wisdom.
just lost audio for ages there.
10.
Oh,
It's good now.
so we couldn't hear anything?
Yeah, not for a while.
Miss anything?
Yeah, I don't know what you're rolling for.
Oh, so you couldn't hear? Could stream
I
hear?
couldn't. No, the stream couldn't hear all my audio cut out.
Okay. So to recap, this this
Add
customs
tail.
official.
Before you recap, just add tail so tail can hear.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Oh fuck! It's gone again.
Can you not hear us?
No, it's back. I fixed it. Oh, that was rough. Sorry about that. I apologize for my shitty computer.
Okay.
You're a shitty
So
computer.
to recap, Miriam has negotiated with the customs official a landing fee of 550 credits for a 7-day stay on this landing pad. Tail and Augur are both still inside the ship with the person of interest and his crate and the other 2 passengers who are remaining on board the ship. Basically, the customs official has told Miriam that there are import and export fees that apply. So if you try and take anything cargo from this world, there will be an export tax. If you were bringing large amount of cargo in, there'd be an import tax. In this situation, each passenger has to pay their own way onto the planet, but as crew of a ship, you don't. It's included in your docking fee. You've also basically agreed that if you were to leave the landing pad for any reason, or leave early before your 7-day stint, you don't get a refund of any of that money. So if you were to leave tomorrow, you've still paid $550. You don't get $450 of that back.
But yeah, that was weird. My power went out and then came back on within like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it happens.
Wow.
So I think that role, I don't think you. This is pretty standard legal jargon, right? He's pretty much summarized all the main points. There is some like small fine details that you'd expect on all sort of corporate contracts about indentured servitude and all that other sort of bullshit for not being able to pay. But
yeah, they can basically impound the ship and stuff, demand stuff.
I'm not indentured. I was enslaved.
There's also it's probably important to note there is a clause in there about criminal activity on the planet. And like if you were to be imprisoned for any reason, or you'd be incarcerated for a significant amount of time, your property is forfeit. And if your ship stays over its like lease because you are imprisoned or captured in any way, like they'll take the ship as payment for you missing that.
How can they take the ship as payment if the ship is like in debt itself?
It would basically become salvage.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
because it would have no legal owner
And
anymore.
yeah, and the debt for the ship is still tied to. I can't remember who put their name
Miriam.
down. Whoever put their name down,
Yeah.
that debt is still tied to Miriam. It's not tied to the ship. So they'd get
I
the
still
ship,
say we should have
strap
put
it,
the ship under some random fake name.
and then Miriam would still be liable for the debt owed on the ship. So
Or give the debt to Green. Give Green the deed. I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
I'm sure nothing would go wrong.
You probably already found it.
Green is Green is a wanted slave for various
indentured
reasons.
servant. Come on,
There's
Slave.
a very legal, distinct difference there. You need
It
to use
really
the difference
is.
there.
Tail was kidnapped and enslaved forcefully.
So
No, she was brought into indentured servitude for debts she could not pay. The
It's
tattoo
legal.
on her neck very clearly shows that.
It's legal, okay? God.
Yes,
Very
because
legal, very legitimate.
Slavery is horrible and illegal.
what are the? I
True.
suppose I should have. Like you already landed the ship, so I don't know the local law, as I would have probably put myself in I would have familiarized myself a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I can tell you what information you're looking for.
Carrying of arms, stance on outsider law enforcement.
Yeah.
So Martian law enforcement.
No, it's fine. Like there is a relatively uneasy cooperation between different governing bodies or corporations. They all respect each other's authority for the most part.
how do they feel
Between
about
the-
escaped slaves?
Yeah, pretty much all of them pretty negative on that, and definitely indentured servants.
Definitely slave.
No one has slaves. Slaving is illegal, and pirates and
Tail
slaves
was
are killed.
clearly kidnapped.
I mean, they don't know that. They just know that you're an indentured servant, and they would never believe you.
Because slavery is illegal and bad.
Yeah. And
It's
you
like
really
Tail
should
doesn't
get
understand
rid
that
of
or
your
something.
slavery tattoos somehow.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of impossible.
I'm sure
Oh,
it's
there are people who
possible
can do it.
somewhere. Oh yeah.
Tail has weird ones.
So do you authorize that payment?
Do we have any money?
Well,
Okay.
yeah, we do have money. The only question I have is security. I would like to see an. You probably have a man to talk to about safety on board this station.
We do. If you have specific questions, I can direct you.
Perfect. I have some specific questions.
Yeah, I mean, he asked what they are, and then I can, yeah, we can get you to an
all
NPC
right.
that answers questions.
If a criminal tries to board my ship, can I shoot him?
It's your ship, as long as you
Good.
can prove malice intent.
Well, that's fair. How far does your security station? Do you have a perimeter? You have guards?
The starport security and corporate security guard and protect all corporate ports of interest, the space station, mines, the storage locations.
All right. Do you have a history of criminal activity occurring outside of these areas that you?
Of course not. Dawn is a perfectly regulated and lawful town. A wonderful place to stay, he says with a broad corporate smile plastered over his face.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Let's see. Do you have a local transport that can be arranged from this place, like a hover bike or a?
Yeah, he nods. He says there are automated transport systems leading to and from local points of interest.
What about private transport?
Anything can be arranged for a price.
Hmm. So they don't have like you can't just rent a Segway and just kind of like a hover Segway and just kind of fly around.
I mean, you could just approach someone who has a vehicle and be like, "Yo, here's 1,000 credits. I'm taking your car for the day."
That's
like,
true. That's true.
They won't always say
Well,
yes.
Yeah. 550 for the thing, and let's see. Yeah, I will pay 550 for the thing and click the thing.
Okay. Yep.
And tie myself to the payment.
Yeah, you press a finger or a thumb, whatever, against the like bio reader on his compad, and yeah, it authorizes the payment. You get a small message that a payment of blah 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 has been authorized to blah blah blah, and yeah, they smile, another broad corporate smile, and he says, "Welcome to Dawn. I hope you enjoy your stay." And he turns and walks away.
Goodbye, corporate man. All right.
What do you do now, Miriam? What's your next step?
Yep. Ogre, you may start processing our passengers. Yes.
Do you come back to the ship?
And she will
Muted,
just
Matt.
start walking.
Am I muted?
No, I didn't hear what you said then.
Nope.
Yeah, we were preparing to leave, right? So I mean,
yep.
As soon as we're ready to leave, Olga leaves with him.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Miriam says,
Miriam basically says you're clear for the space station, and she starts heading out to ask someone for their car.
Okay, so do you go to that? You is that your next move to get to a car?
Yeah, yep. To get to a car or a hover bike or anything that flies.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you head through the spaceport. It's not massively busy. But there are enough people here. Once again, most of them look like cargo haulers or pilots. There's nothing super fancy here. Most people are in like just standard jumpsuits with various corporate logos emblazoned on them. Yeah, and then you make your way through, and you see multiple security officers, all with very visible weapons. They like all of these security officers look like they're cut from the same thread, right? They're bog standard corporate security. You see them everywhere. You walk through. They eye you up as you walk, and you make it outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think you can approach someone and ask them about their vehicle.
Excuse me. Hello, good sir. I notice you have a vehicle. It looks pretty nice. How much for a borrow for a couple of hours?
The gentleman looks you up and down, gives you a once over. How do I know you bring it back?
Oh, you could drive it for me. It's fairly easy. I just want to survey the area.
He nods, and he looks you up and down again. And you know this look. This is the how much money can I make this person pay for this look? And he looks you up and down and says, "Sure, couple hours, 500 credits."
For a couple of hours, 500 credits. I would be surprised if the wreck doesn't kill me on the way. 250.
He kind of leans back. He says, "Like you said, it's a nice car. Do you want to roll for me?"
Oh, sure.
This would be trade. This would be the
Oh,
quintessential example of trade.
well, it's a 7, so I get most of what I want.
Yeah. Okay. So I think he looks you up and down again and says, "Person like you, just as nice as you are, I reckon you can make 300."
Yeah, she nods and she says, well, 300. We have a deal.
Sure.
And she puts out her hand to shake, and 300 credits richer to man with car.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
And she'll basically take the car for a spin and, start surveying the area.
Cool. What are we looking for exactly?
We're primarily looking for, what should I say? Well, he said the corporate headquarters wasn't very far. So
Yeah.
we are looking at a route, maybe a couple of blocks. So what she's looking for is sideways people who are either selling like drugs, prostitutes, people who are
Shady
familiar
activity,
to the
like
area. Yeah, shady
unlawful activities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there should be places that they have carted out for themselves, but then there should also be someone who is not a prostitute, who is just like someone who's not doing trade, but who is looking to either pickpocket
someone
or
who's
rob.
in a shitty neighborhood that doesn't really look like they belong in a shitty neighborhood and isn't partaking in any of the other things people around them are.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So
Okay.
we are basically looking at that.
All right, roll me a notice.
All right. Ooh, that's bad.
Okay. let me
Well, I'm
Let me
not
do
too
something real quick.
familiar with this neighborhood, so
Yes, you don't see anything. Like you definitely you can see all the sort of areas you'd expect kind of shit to be going on. But this close to the starport, which is relatively heavily patrolled by corporate security, and the corporate HQ, which is the same. You don't see many people around in those areas. Maybe this is probably too close to a more heavily patrolled area than too close to that sort of area to attract that many people of the night, as you were.
yeah, it makes sense. So she will find a place. Well, she will deliver the car back. Important. So like when they, well, it depends. I think she said for a couple of hours. So she's gonna get her money's worth. So she's gonna
Yeah.
drive it to um, places that she can keep a view of the street that Augur will be going, and
Yeah. Okay.
she will open up her suitcase, and it's like a almost like a ski case, and it's just like foam, and there's this massive barrel that's sort of like gets plucked up, and she'll basically use the car as her mobile surveillance to see what happens along the path,
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
and
Um.
just sort of try to sneakily be in the area without being noticed. So
Sure.
she'll try and lose the car from any suspicious eyes, and then basically come back.
Yeah. Okay. Can you roll me sneak? To see how well you do that.
Yep. Oh, it's all right.
Okay. All right. So I think we fade back to Olga, Tail, and Co. We see the two other passengers. They walk forward. They have a short conversation with the customs official, authorize a payment, and then they're on their way. Relatively simply. The last person, our good friend, Luther. He steps forward and has another short conversation with the customs official. And then the customs official nods and takes a couple of steps backwards and waves the group of you through with the now hovering crate. He walks through the station as if he's been here before. He a relatively confident stride. He's heading straight in the direction he needs to go. The crate is, without seemingly much input from him, following closely behind. Tail, Olga, what are you guys doing?
Chatting.
I have no idea. What'd you say, Matt?
Chatting.
Okay.
Just talking.
Yeah, so there's this kind of innate
Like
conversation going on.
Yeah, like not actively not paying attention.
Not actively not paying attention.
Actively not paying attention.
Actively not paying attention. Okay. So then
I mean, you know what's gonna happen. You don't need to pay attention.
They you walk from the starport, and you step down into the town, and he just keeps walking once again, confident, like he seems to know where he's going. Doesn't seem to really need much guidance or need to stop to get his bearings. He just goes. You continue to follow him, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tails just absentmindedly following, taking in her surroundings.
Is
Sure.
this the area
So
where
there's
we're
a-
ambushed?
Yeah, so there's a short kind of almost like no man's land between the starport and where the like sprawl of kind of buildings begin. And we reach the edge of that no man's land.
Let me know when Organ like
Um,
notices the area that they get all ambushed in.
It's this point, right?
Okay.
It's the point at the end, like where the town begins and the no man's land ends.
How many people were there?
And yeah, I mean, I think you saw all of them. I think there were 6.
Okay, so August sees this place, and it just as they're strolling, very casually says, "Oh, 6 men with guns are going to ambush us here."
Wait, what?
And as August says that, 6 people with guns step out from behind the from the town side, aiming the guns, and one of them, I think a shorter woman, with the gun aimed probably dead center of like August's head, says, Now, no need to make any sort of quick or irrational movements. What I'm going to need you all to do is to take your weapons out from wherever they are and put them on the floor in front of you. Kick them towards me and my men.
We don't have any weapons.
Teo literally doesn't have any weapons. Teo has no weapons on her.
Or she says, "We don't believe you," or "I don't believe you."
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
She
I don't have any
nods
weapons.
to 2 people either side. Search them. And 2 people like kind of put their guns to the side and step forward to like pat you down. Do you stop
While
them?
they're doing that, I read her mind.
Okay.
Oh my god, that is a
Wall of
big tool.
text.
Wall of text. So you can obtain
Level 2.
the target. So level 2.
Yep.
Psychic's awareness of the target's surface cognition is so specific they would have read their current thoughts. They cannot pick up memories or non-obvious connections. Target's a mental saving throw. Okay. Do you have to score over the save or under it in the system? I don't remember.
Let me just do a thing. Over.
Over. Okay.
Yeah, over.
That was a really
then
good roll. Now I'm disappointed I wasted it on the test.
Yeah. So they pass the saving throw. So you get whatever you normally see. That's a good question. What do you see when someone resists that?
Well, when someone doesn't resist it, I hear whispers, but when they resist it, I just hear like strange static that sounds almost like it sounds almost like talking, but not. So like you can make out a voice, but it's not
You just
understandable
don't
in any
get
language.
anything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't really get anything from it. All right. No, that's fine. So yeah, that happens. Do they find weapons on either of you? I know they don't find them on you, Tao.
No. Oh, actually, no, I don't think so. To my knowledge.
You
If
just
you
tell
have
me when
weapon-
a minute has gone by. You just tell me. You can just tell me.
If you have weapons on you, they like pull them from you if you don't stop them and toss them to the ground.
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry, no, I do.
Yeah.
I have a monoblade.
Okay.
They've so
And
they
are you
pull
trying
out,
to hide that in any way?
No, it's just at my side.
Okay. Yeah. Then they grab the monoblade.
It's very ornate.
Like
it's
yeah.
fancy.
I think they pull out the monoblade and she in like traditional thug bandit style says, "No, I like this. This one I think I'll keep." And she like the person tosses it to her. She catches it and hooks it to her own belt.
Why would you keep that? It's his.
And she looks at you, Taya. Are you covering? Like you're obviously covering it in some way because if you weren't, someone else would have done it for you.
Yeah, like Teo didn't purposely do it. Someone else probably put like her hood up or something.
A scarf or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Ethan. He's just dressed her up.
Yeah, probably. Like Ethan's like, no, you can't. Like,
Yeah.
all right, no, that's fine. So she says, she looks at, still looking at Olga. She says, "All right, now, Butler, we're gonna take your master's possessions, and you're not gonna do anything. You're gonna stand there like a good robot, and you're not gonna interfere or mess with us in any way, okay?"
Would we be able to convince you to not do that?
Someone knocking. Sorry.
I'm a knocking.
She says, "I believe that would take a lot more money than you have."
I don't have any money.
My case stands.
Why do you want to take our friend's stuff? Oh, sorry. Why do you want to take Mr. Luther's stuff? He is not our friend.
He doesn't
She
like
smiled.
me.
She smiles then you won't mind. And one of them steps up to the container and like is about to go key in something.
I'm sorry,
And
we can't let you do
Miriam?
that.
Yep. She dies. The woman who stepped up in the front.
So the one that's about to key something in, or the woman who's been talking?
Oh, yeah,
Different
the
people.
woman who's been talking.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you just get. I'm gonna just So
Yeah.
she's
So what? She just
Olga, I
explodes.
think in almost perfect timing, Olga says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think we can let you do that." And her head just goes, and she like collapses to the ground.
Teo just looks
I'm
at it and
gonna-
says, Teo just looks and says, well, that's unfortunate.
I'm gonna roll something to see
Liam,
if
did
the
August
rest
see
of these
that?
thugs are still here.
Did August see the head explosion in the psychic vision?
No, they didn't get that far.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're about to get blown up by the guy who's keying the.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
There's
right.
there's now blood everywhere.
Okay, we need page 159, I think.
I think there's assassinate somewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm giving you. That's fine. You just have that for narrative effect because it's cool.
I think he's looking for morale.
Absolutely. You go to the morale score. Okay.
Yes,
'cause
the
it's
leader's
like-
head just exploded.
Like he explodes, and there's like a massive bullet that's like into the pavement, and then 10 seconds later, there's the bang of the gun.
Eesh. That actually might be not good enough.
It's a. Was that the guy that was keying in the stuff, or was that the person?
No,
who
that was the
talking?
leader lady.
No, that was the leader. Person keying and stuff will still get their action before they notice what has happened and flee in terror.
Well, you might just blow up. Who knows?
Unless someone stops them. You guys, both Olga
Yeah.
and Tail, I'm giving you an action.
And then I would say, I recommend you don't open that. It will explode.
Yeah, I mean, talking to him is not going to work.
Sort of like your friend over there.
Well, this is happening and simultaneously.
Yeah, this is
So-
all happening at
Okay.
the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, you get one thing to do before
Yeah, that's
she explodes.
definitely not good enough. So yeah, I mean, if Olga or Tail want to stop this person, go for it.
Now,
I
this guy
transmit
said-
thought at
Mhm.
him.
This
I
They're
just
not
keep.
willing.
No. I didn't
Willing
realize that.
target. Yeah.
Then I used dun, 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 dun. See, Tail isn't a violent person, so she wouldn't run up and punch him.
Well, no, she would, but she could like grab his arm or
What
like
was
be like,
what was the We're getting paid to keep this escort this.
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
right?
We're
What
getting paid
did-
to keep him and his box safe.
What was the exact thing Miriam said before she left? And when she
well, she said,
calmed back.
yeah, she said to, what,
I
Oh
think
my God, what
escort.
was
It
he?
was like escort this
Yep.
guy, right?
Shouldn't open that.
Oh yeah. I mean, Augur's standing next to the dude with the box because they've been chatting to him. So she just we walks up to the dude. Puts their hand on their arm and like tries to stop them. You shouldn't do that. It will end poorly.
So you're trying to like grapple him to stop him from.
I mean, I'm just. I guess so. All I'm doing is grabbing his hand, like stopping him from keying on anything.
Yeah, opposed strength.
Jesus, okay. Roll a strength check.
Yeah, and we'll
Yep.
just compare values.
Well, I don't
Basically.
think you can roll a strength check.
You can roll strength.
roll-
Exert with
exert.
strength.
Ooh, that's not good. That's a +0. -1
man.
rather. 6.
Oh man.
Okay.
does that mean?
So yeah,
Do I win?
yeah, I give it to you. Ties
Okay.
with players. So yeah, I mean, he reaches forward, like to key in whatever he's gonna key in, and we see Augur's hand like grab onto his, and he struggles, and then he turns to look at like what just happened, and then he tries to run. Are you still holding onto him?
Yeah, not because Augur wants
He
to stop him
activated the
from
vice
running.
grip in his hand.
Yeah, like Augur's just holding his hand because they don't want him to key in the code. Augur doesn't understand that they want to run now.
They're trying to run. Yeah. Okay. Another post exert. Yeah. So I mean, like everyone else scatters. If you don't do anything about it, they run because Augur's just said like something menacing, and then
someone's
the leader's
exploded.
head has just exploded. So like that's enough. So this person is like pulling away from Augur, sheer panic in their eyes, and Augur is just like vice gripped onto their wrist.
Yeah, it's also it's mechanical, so it is vice grip.
Yeah, and I mean that's the stalemate we're at until someone does something.
It
right?
does say once the preparation is complete, the sniper may shoot an additional adjacent targets.
We would stop
During
running
Yeah,
if
I
we
mean,
were you.
You want to kill someone else? I mean,
But we
you
would
you,
stop
yeah.
you
struggling if we
drop
were
as many of them as you want, right? Like they're you probably get maybe two of the leader, then two others. You have a clear firing line, and they're running in panic. They're not expecting to be shot. They're expecting to have their heads blown up by weird psychic stuff. And you can't really duck and weave weird psychic stuff, so they're not. They're just trying to break line of sight, so they're running fast, but in a predictable direction. So, do more of them drop?
Oh yeah, as many as I can get.
Yeah, so two more of them fall to the ground dead, holes torn through them. Did you shoot the one that Augur is struggling with? Is that one of the ones you've killed?
way.
One, I don't. Two, I do. Yeah, I do.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
after shooting the runners, he's just holding the guy, and then he just kind of like crumples against you, smearing blood all over your nice finery, and
Slumps to the ground.
yeah.
And Luther kind of looks around at this, and he says, "Well, that was unfortunate. Shall we continue?"
what color is this planet, Liam? From space?
It's I imagine like it's almost like what Mars is now is in
Red?
our time now, not what Mars is in game now.
Okay. So Augur's wearing a very extravagant, like red ensemble, like the color of the planet. So the blood doesn't
Sure.
really show then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I wore my red pants.
Yeah.
Olga just lets go of them
So-
and walks over to get their knife.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you reach down and you can take it from the body of the dead woman.
We did tell them not to do that. This is an unfortunate.
I am
Luther
very
says-
confused.
You did. Shall we continue?
Yes.
Did you know them?
Did you asking Luther?
Yeah, I asked him that.
No.
They seem to know how to open your crate.
Maybe they did.
If they
Maybe
did,
they didn't.
how did they?
There are many answers to that.
You're a very strange man. Let's go.
Any other person in the world, in the universe, in the history of humanity, would have turned to tail and said, "And you're saying that?" But Luther just goes and just walks on, continues his like stride in his direction. The box once again following closely behind him.
Is there any native fauna on this planet? Or fauna.
Yeah, not much.
All right. Olga's just talking to anyone that will listen and engage about the animals they see.
Yeah,
See a
I mean,
pigeon.
no one. Luther isn't engaging. No one on the street is. So
No,
I
just
guess
to the
Hale is-
companions.
I
the
mean,
people with
someone
Olga.
just shot like 3 goons, and the street's probably getting empty right now.
Yeah, so I mean, noticeably, corporate security are just kind of standing at the bounds of the starport and didn't interfere or interact with that in any way, shape, or form. It's outside their jurisdiction. They couldn't give less of a shit.
Is it
I
just
like corporate security.
Is it just Olga, Tail, and Mr. Luther?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I
where are
mean,
we
so
going?
you,
I wasn't paying any attention.
He says, "We're going to Blue Sands Hypertech. I don't even know what they call it. Like outpost on this world."
Yeah, probably. Oh, what a. Never mind. Sounds like an interesting place. Wait, am I a slave to the Blue Suns?
I don't know. You tell me. Did we ever determine which corporation you were
I think it
One
was
of the big three,
indentured servitude to?
Oh,
What are the
these
big
aren't-
three
So
called
no.
again?
It's not Blue Suns. EKB, New
EKB,
Horizon,
was it?
and Yansar.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it was
So
EKB.
the luxury shipbuilders.
Yeah, because you're a psychic, so they wanted to use you.
How are the ships?
While we're walking there, after it's like some asinine comment about a bird or something, Olga
Literally
asks,
just a pigeon.
yeah, just the pigeon. Olga says, "Mr. Luther, may we ask you a question?"
I cannot guarantee an answer.
This is acceptable. Why do
Then
you
ask.
think? Why do you think that they were trying to steal from you?
It is impossible for me to ascertain the reason.
No, or rather, not what they were looking for, but why they would stoop to that level to take what is not theirs.
Many do.
Why?
Because it is not theirs. It is human nature to covet that which is not theirs.
Why?
Doesn't answer.
Do you covet that which is not yours?
No.
So it's
I
not,
do.
Does What do you covet, Tail?
Freedom.
Fuck, man, that's deep.
Blue pill
Oh.
or the red pill, friend?
I don't think we can give that to you. I apologize, Tail.
I know.
Mr. Luther, if you do not covet that which is not yours, but it is something that humans all do, does that make you human?
Of course.
But you do not covet something that is not yours.
Yet I am human.
So not all humans covet that which is not theirs.
As far as I know, they all do.
Then you're not human.
But I am.
But you're really not.
Well,
Yet I am.
does that mean you are the exception to the rule?
There is exceptions to all rules.
So all humans
Not the rules
cov-
of physics.
That is
Mm.
not true.
Yeah. Metaspace is one big, huge fucking exception to the rules of
Yes,
physics.
but Teo doesn't understand that.
We will discuss that further later, Tail. I have much to share on that. So, if we understand it correctly, all humans covet that which is not theirs, except for the exceptions, and there are many exceptions.
I stated there were exceptions to every rule, not that there are many exceptions.
That in itself has an exception, but where there cannot be any exceptions. Because that is a rule.
You get no response.
Should we covet something that is not ours?
Do you wish to be human?
Why would we wish to be human?
What are you?
You are
Who you-
asking
Who
if
you're a-
you should do something a human does.
Wait, we'll say again? I didn't quite hear.
You are asking if you should do something a human does.
Is it just something that humans do?
No.
Then why should we not do it?
Because maybe what you are does not need to.
Thank you.
This conversation has left me more confused. Like most things.
Look at that bug. It has 13 legs.
And we cut away from that to Miriam. What do we see?
I love our characters, they're so stupid.
Oh my god. So yeah, you see Miriam has basically like put the gun away. There's like I think there's like 3 shells of like, they're big, and she just kind of puts it back in the suitcase, and she's gonna drive to like the next corner, and you see like a red reticuli just kind of with like an audio like an audio thing that's just kind of like, you hear Tails' voice and you see Augur's voice. You hear the reply from
Yeah, I mean we
that's
hear
basically-
Olga discussing the bug, right? Through this.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
and then
Um,
she gets in the car and she basically is gonna corner them, hunt anyone who hunts them again, but keep a
Sure.
distance. Make sure she's mostly unpredictable in where she is.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I think you arrive at the Blue Sun's hypertech kind of outpost, and you're greeted by, like, honestly, you're greeted by corporate security, and you could have just taken the corporate security. Like, if we were in a video game, these guys could really just be reused assets. Like all corporate security just looks so fucking similar. They're all cut from the same fucking cloth. Like it's if you saw these people in civilian clothing in the street, you'd go, "These guys are corporate security." Like it's super obvious.
It's the same 5
And
actors. They just put makeup on them to make them look different.
100%, and they're just wearing different clothes. Like it's the same jumpsuit, but it has a different logo on it now, and it's a different color.
So Star Trek rules.
Yeah. So one of them kind of greets you at the gate and says, Luther, welcome. It's nice to see you made it. We heard about a credible threat. And Luther says, indeed, it was dealt with.
It was unfortunate.
Many did not make
The
it.
corporate security literally pays you no attention.
As they
We're
should.
just- I think we're just talking to each other.
Yeah, literally, right? And he, Luther turns to you and says, thank you. Your assistance was invaluable, but now unnecessary. I have authorized the payment. You should see it in your account soon. I have added a further 2,000 credits for the escort.
Thank you. That will be very useful, I believe. I don't know how money works, but from what I know,
Before you go, Mr. Luther.
Okay.
you
And I mean,
changed your mind?
he'll walk into this outpost.
Did,
before he leaves, I try reading his mind one last time.
you
I
don't need
believe
a
the
post-
last time you didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Get nothing.
You still don't. I don't say. No, I do say. Taylor doesn't not say anything because she says, "You are still a very hard man to read."
Mr. Luther, before you go,
As he walks away.
have you changed your mind?
Yeah, and the crate follows him into the protection of the corporate security.
Goodbye, strange person.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, before he
Yeah.
goes.
No, Matt, we can't hear you.
Before Mr.
Yeah,
Luther
before-
goes, August is, before you go, Mr. Luther, have you changed your mind on what we asked you before?
What did we ask him?
Would he be, if he would be our friend?
You have provided adequate service. We appreciate that.
Does that mean we may have your comm?
I don't believe that is appropriate.
Is there anything we can say to convince you otherwise?
No.
Good day, Mr. Luther.
Oh,
Didn't make a friend, guys.
That was a goal, if you were wondering. Haven't even checked my character sheet, and I can tell you that.
Oh, it wasn't. a friend. I just wanted to make a friend.
It's okay, Olga. I'll be your friend.
Okay. What do you do?
Tail actually wants to do something.
well,
Yeah?
the first thing that happens is Miriam stops the car. She just kind of like opens the door and she says, "Get in."
Do you think
Okay.
we should
We
get in?
do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
She stares
And,
blankly for a moment and gets in.
Sure. Olga, do
Yeah.
you acquiesce to the request?
Yeah.
Cool.
We delivered.
And
We got paid. Everything is very good.
yeah. So you get a total of 17,000 credits.
Damn. Dude.
Woo!
So
Someone do the math.
12 from Luther, and then 1,000 each for your 5 other passengers.
Someone
Yep.
do some math. I'm lazy.
Deductible expenses: 550 for ship rent.
Yep.
300 rent of car. 300 greens security guard job.
Yep.
That leaves us with 1700 deductible 550 minus 300. 15,950. So I will do what I usually do, and that is we put 10k in the ship bank. We bank it with the ship, and
Yep.
then the rest we just
Yep.
divide with ourselves.
We also have to pay.
So how much
Mr.
do we
Green.
each get?
5,009. Wait, 5,950 divided by 1, 2, 3.
Do we not? Is
Which
Mr.
is
Green in that
7?
calculation?
Mr. Green gets
Nah,
a
you
different
pay
salary.
Green.
He's
Well,
part of the
that's-
ship
I'm-
payment.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's part of the ship payment. You'll notice Ethan did not get paid.
Ain't
Ethan is
doing
our
anything.
useless cook. He is our useless cook who's very bad at cooking.
So each of us get paid 1,983. You can choose
Sweet.
to pay Ethan if you want.
I give Ethan 500.
Woo.
Go Ethan.
Congratulations, Ethan. You're not dirt broke.
Yeah, you can pay like I don't know, 0.1%
paid him-
of your indentured servitude.
Yeah. You paid Ethan more than I paid Green.
I also give Green 500.
Oh, that's so nice.
So, out of curiosity, did you? We haven't refueled yet either. Have we?
No.
I don't
we-
think so.
There's like a gas giant we can refuel with, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean you can refuel. This system doesn't have a gas giant.
Oh, right.
We
But
can do
you
it on
can-
stars
you
as well,
can-
but like takes a lot. It's like really inconvenient.
Yeah, I know.
You're really inconvenient.
And, it
And do
feels
you have
really
cargo
cheap.
scoops?
Yeah, we do.
You do have fuel scoops. Yeah.
But it's really inconvenient and fuel's very cheap.
But what we can do is
Otherwise,
use-
otherwise fuel is like 500 per, so it's not that much.
How much fuel do we have now? Let's see. We should probably also pay maintenance on our ship.
That's what the 10,000's for.
You don't have to just yet.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's true.
It's
We still
maintenance
have a couple
maintenance
of-
every 6 months. And like this journey was what 7, 14,
2 weeks.
21 days. So
No, it wasn't. It was less
Get that.
because we skipped.
you did skip. You
I
are
think it was
correct.
like 6 days.
Yeah. So skipping halves.
Yeah.
If I am.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So skipping halves. So it's been what like 10 days.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I'll add, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much starting, the count on maintenance, even though you would have had the ship beforehand. I'm saying like just before session 1, you got the ship maintained. So, yeah, we're going. It's been 10 days so far.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, the maintenance is I think every 6 months. I was reading before. Where is it? Page 113. Yeah. So 6 months maintenance. Every ship needs to spend 5% of its total non-crew cost every 6 months in order to pay for basic maintenance. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a good while left before we.
Yeah,
need
you have-
to
you
do
have time.
any-
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
Uh,
And you have about 20 days before the first payment on your ship is due.
Sounds fun.
So you have time. You have time.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, are you gonna return this gentleman's car?
Well, yeah. That's what I'm implying is I tell them to get in.
Yeah.
And we go back to the ship with our payment. Everybody who needs to get paid gets paid. So there's probably a meeting with Green where it's just like, here's $300, try not to spend it all at once. You can take shore leave. Enjoy your stay on this beautiful dirt ball.
Okay.
This is the end of part 1. I'm cutting it here to make it more digestible. As the weeks go on, we will be getting better at these breaks, going back to what it was like in season 1 and 2, having one every 2 hours or so. Week 4 does have one. Unfortunately, week 5 doesn't, so there'll be a cut in a slightly awkward place. I'll make sure it's not intrusive, though. Going on from week 6, we should be back to the regular break every 2 or so hours, so the cuts will be less intrusive. Thank you very much for watching.